Hey everybody, Dr. Hutchison here at Virginia Highlands Community College. I'm so glad you're joining us here for this very special Facebook Live event. We're right here, Facebook Live. You can find us on your mobile device or on your computer or on your iPad or whatever else you might be using tonight. But we're here specifically to talk about one of the great programs we have at Virginia Highlands Community College, a program that's not only connected to a great education, but also connected to a great career. So we want to talk specifically about precision machining. Now, you might say, I don't even know what precision machining is. It sounds like an exacting science, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. That's why we're here to tell you about it tonight. And so before we go a whole lot further, though, I want to tell you 3 specific reasons why you should consider a career in precision machining. And by the way, if you're joining us tonight because you received an email about this Facebook Live telecast, let us know in the comments section if you got that email and that's why you're contacting us. And in fact, if you'll let us know that you got that email and that's why you're joining us, I've got a special gift for you. We'll send it out to you, but let us know if you're watching because you got that email. We want to stay connected to you and make sure that you get all the information you need to make a great career choice, hopefully in precision machining. So here we go. Why precision machining? Here's 3 really great reasons to consider a wonderful career as a precision machinist. Reason number 1, excellent pay. Did you know the median salary for a machinist in the United States is $44,000 a year? That doesn't include overtime or other things like that. It's a great career. And it's more than just a job. It's a career that lets you really take care of a family and support the people around you and be a part of your community. That's what we mean by a great career here at Virginia Highlands. Number 2, it's a short-term educational investment. In fact, here at Virginia Highlands, in just 2 semesters, you can gain the skills and the competencies necessary to be a great machinist in just 2 semesters. And you're going to meet the people behind such a great program in just a couple of minutes. But it doesn't take a long time to gain those skills and get right out into the workforce. Number 3, a high job demand. As the baby boomer generation continues to retire and more jobs become available, the United States faces a real possibility of not having enough trained technicians to enter into the workforce, especially with the skills of a precision machinist. So not only is the pay great, and it doesn't take long to gain those skills to be ready to enter the workforce, there's lots of jobs available for you to jump into when you finish your program here at Virginia Highlands. So enough talk about the program in general. I want to introduce you to the gentleman who helps lead the program here at Virginia Highlands. Johnny Keene is a VHCC Computer Numerical Control and Machine Operations graduate with 20 plus years of precision machining experience. For 15 of those years, he worked for Titan Wheel, but since then, Johnny has served as an adjunct professor of machining at Southwest Community College, and then for the last 2 years, he's been the head of machining here at Virginia Highlands. It's my pleasure to welcome Johnny Keene. Johnny, are you out there somewhere?
I am.
There he is. There's Johnny. Johnny, thanks for joining us. So we're doing this a little bit differently than we might otherwise. Instead of Johnny sitting next to me, we're maintaining social distance and all that stuff, and Johnny's on another part of campus. We're doing this with a little bit of television magic here. But Johnny, thank you for joining us. In a few minutes, we're going to take a quick tour of the facility here at Virginia Highlands and the machining stuff. But before we get to that, before we go any further, if there was one thing to brag about our program here at Virginia Highlands Community College, about your precision machining program, what would you brag about? What's that one thing?
Well, thank you, Dr. Hutchinson, for hosting us tonight. The one thing I would brag about probably would be the relationship we have with our regional manufacturers.
Yeah, you know, that's a great point. The whole goal of a program like this is to connect a student to a job on the other end. And there's so many great jobs in precision machining. But, you know, before we jump to more discussion about that and even take a tour, let's just pause for a second and try to answer the question, what does a precision machinist do all day? Can you give me an example? What's going on in a precision machinist world? What did you do when you were working in the industry?
Well, you run lathes, mills, grinders. We've recently added some additive manufacturing, which is 3D printing.
So really it's the backbone of everything that we manufacture in the United States. Is that right?
Pretty much anything that a machinist or anything that somebody comes in contact with out in the world, a machinist had a hand in it. Starting off to the clothes that you're wearing.
That's incredible. So
cotton
all
shirt
the stuff
on,
we touch. Yeah, think a machinist is what we need to do, right?
So it's a machinist has had his hand in just about everything.
Fantastic. Yeah, we should all thank the machinists that keep us dressed and keep our phones and our cars and our tools working. It's incredible. So tell me about some of the companies that we work with here at Virginia Highlands with your program.
Well, with my program, we've had a real good relationship with several local manufacturers: General Engineering, Strongwell, Zenith Fuel Systems, Eastman Chemical, Columbus McKinnon, Remex, and several others. And they're not only hiring our students, they're also providing internships for them.
Wow, internships. So these are students that haven't even graduated yet, but they've already gained enough skills to do some work on the job, huh?
Absolutely, absolutely. And they're paid internships as well.
Paid internships. In fact, now correct me if I'm wrong, one of our paid interns is on a billboard right now. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, if you go by exit 7, you'll see Chris Craddy of Abingdon. He's been selected for an internship in the trainee program at Eastman.
Incredible. So even before you graduate from the program, you've already got enough skills to start earning back some of the money that you need and really give you a good first step into the industry and connecting with the job even before you finish.
Yes, absolutely.
That's incredible. You know, one of the things I'm most proud about Virginia Highlands Community College is that we're a college that loves our community and the community loves it loves us back. And that's a great example of it. These paid internships where companies in our community come to the college and they're looking for our graduates. Now, Johnny, do those companies ever come visit your lab or meet with your students here on campus?
Yes, just about all the companies that I mentioned come to campus and tour our facility and meet with the students. They have on-site interviews with our students, and there've been a couple of them that's come in and done some Q&A with them just to help them prep for interviewing.
That's wonderful. It's that connection with industry that really sets the program apart, and you're a big part of that, Johnny. You know, I've got here a quote from Columbus McKinnon about the quality of our programs and our students. They said this is from Eric Rowland. Eric is the Human Resources Manager at Columbus McKinnon. He said, Virginia Highlands has a great program that produces skilled operators and minimizes training in the workforce. That minimizing training, that's really important, right? So that they're able to be productive when they get to the job after coming out of your program.
Yes, that's very important. The less amount of time they spend training somebody, the more productive that employee can be.
And that's really what it's all about, is connecting our students to that great paying job and meeting the needs of our community. Well, look, that's enough of me talking. Let's do this. Let's jump right to that tour we were talking about. Now, folks, we filmed this a little bit earlier today, but we want you to see it. So how about we take a quick tour of the precision machining program right here at Virginia Highlands.
All right, we're going to do a tour of the machining program at Virginia Highlands. If you look in here, this is our computer lab. We've actually got 16 computer stations in this room. This is where we do our Fusion 360, our 3D modeling, our AutoCAD stuff. We do that in here. And if you'll follow me, we'll go to our manual lab. This is where we do our manual machining. We've got a row of lathes down this way, and then we've got our milling machines here. We've got 2 surface grinders, and we've got some saws in the back, and some presses here on this side, another lathe over here, and now let's go to the CNC shop. This is our CNC lab. Up here in the corner, we've got 4 simulators. That's the exact control panel as our CNCs in the back. We also have a 3D printer. We've got a couple of other Mazak CNCs here. We've got 3 Haas lathes and 2 Haas machining centers on this side. And then we have a tool room over here, and that's pretty much it.
Johnny, that's incredible. I'll tell you what jumped out at me first as you took us on that tour of the lab is that there's really 2 things going on. There's certainly some classroom instruction where you really do have to master the theory and some of the technical aspects. But my goodness, Johnny, that lab setup, those 2 labs, you had a CNC lab and the other, full of machines, full of stuff to put your hands on. Do students get a lot of time practicing and using those machines?
Yes, they spend the majority of their time on the machines, and right from the get-go, we do manual and CNC machining, so they don't have to do a semester of manual machines before they can start CNC. We jump into both right from day one.
Man, it's incredible. So if I was a student who says, hey, I think I might be interested in this because I really like making things, applying designs and being a part of this larger economy of manufacturing, and frankly, I like the money and the stability of the job of being a precision machinist. If I was a student considering precision machining as a career, what are some reasons why they should choose Virginia Highlands?
Well, I can give you 3 or 4 reasons real quick. First off, we've added an evening program, so those that's already working or can't make it in the daytime, we're putting an evening program together to where they can upskill at their current employer, or they can gain some additional skills to seek employment elsewhere. We've also got 2 career study certificates that's available now. And as I mentioned earlier, our partnership with the local employers, including the paid internships, I think that's a great reason to start at VHCC. And as you saw in the tour, we've updated both labs. We've added 9 new pieces of equipment in the last 3 years.
Johnny, thank you so much. Those are great reasons to start at Virginia Highlands Community College. Again, I love the fact that the lab environment is not just a museum, it's something that students really get to put their hands on right from the beginning. They're building, they're making, they're really practicing those skills and competencies necessary to get that great paying job. Before we go any further though, Johnny, I want to bring in somebody else into our conversation, a friend of ours. So Johnny, don't go anywhere. You'll be back for some questions and answers in just a second. I want to introduce everybody to Gayle Mitchum. Gayle is the Executive Director for the Southwest Virginia Alliance for Manufacturing. The mission of that alliance is to promote the sustainment and the advancement of manufacturing here in Southwest Virginia. Gayle is a native of Southwest Virginia. She's passionate about making sure that the manufacturing remains strong in our region, ensuring that people who want to stay here can do so with a career that they love and a community they can thrive in. Gayle is also a 10-year veteran of the U.S. Army National Guard. She served in Kuwait and Afghanistan in support of both Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. And she's joining us tonight live via Skype. So I think she's out there somewhere. Welcome, Gayle. Are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, man, great. I'm so glad. First of all, thank you for your service to our country and for representing Southwest Virginia. I really appreciate that. I know all our viewers do too.
Well, thank you.
So, Gayle, this is just a remarkable time in manufacturing in general, but I want you to give us some view from the industry. So give us some perspective about what manufacturing is like today versus what it was maybe 50 years ago. Is it cleaner, faster?
Absolutely.
What's different?
Sure. So I should start out by saying I'm the daughter of a machinist. So I come from a lifelong watching my father, and all I really knew about machining before starting this job was that it involved a lot of math. So manufacturing today, one thing a lot of people don't realize is that there are about 350 manufacturing companies across Southwest Virginia. That blew my mind when I first heard it. And that, like you said, manufacturing today doesn't look like it did 20 years ago. A lot of people, when they think of manufacturing, they think dark, dirty, dangerous, the old factory. But that's not what it looks like today. Manufacturers are held to higher standards than ever before. Brightly lit, clean, a lot of them are climate controlled, very different, and you'll see a lot of technology like CNC machining being used in manufacturing. And they're making products in Southwest Virginia that are impacting the world. It's one thing I get so passionate about is when people say there's nothing happening here. That's not the case because of Southwest Virginia manufacturing. We are making a difference in the entire world because of our manufacturers. So, and our manufacturers are also actively hiring. We've got hundreds of positions all across Southwest Virginia that are available right now. We have a page on our website that I can link in the comments here where people can go and view the job openings for our member companies. But there are so many opportunities and so many amazing things happening in manufacturing right now.
That's fantastic. You know, I have to admit, I didn't know there were that many manufacturers right here in Southwest Virginia. Can you give us an example of some of the stuff that's being made right here?
Sure, absolutely. So things like pillows and mattresses at Tempur-Pedic in Duffield, Virginia, which is in the county where I grew up, to tractor trailers. There are bag and box for like pouches that your children drink or wine that maybe your mom and dad drink. Things like car parts, and then of course all the great machining work that's being done by the different machining companies across Southwest Virginia. I mean, we've got it all.
It's incredible, incredibly diverse. And you said 350 something manufacturers?
50. Yes. Yes.
Wow. Wow. And you know, when you really look at the map and you place Southwest Virginia on that corridor of Interstate 81 and not that far from Interstate 40, I can kind of envision now how it's a really important crossroads for all of those distribution points too. I'm sure that may have something to do with it. So let me ask you, Gayle, what would you tell a student who says, hey, maybe I'm interested in precision machining? What kind of feedback or counsel would you give a student who was interested in a program like this?
Sure, absolutely. So we've already covered that there's a need. That is one of the positions I see very frequently when we list our job openings. There are lots of different types of machining jobs in our area, and that no two companies are the same. So keep that in mind. If you go and work for a company and if it's not quite your speed, try something else because there's so many different opportunities. There's a wide variety. And obviously machining jobs are not the monotonous ones. What you're doing one day is likely not what you're going to be doing the next day. And so I actually polled some of our companies that do machining across Southwest Virginia to find out what are your greatest needs to help me to answer this question. And it was so interesting because they didn't say the technical things. Immediately what they said, mentality and attitude. Of all the employers who hire machinists, they said that they're looking for those personal attributes, those soft skills that people bring to the job. One of them said, if you have a great attitude, I can teach you anything. Another said, be ready to learn because each job is going to be different. They're looking for someone that's going to take pride in their work. They want to hire someone who possesses those skills that can't be taught, like honesty, trustworthiness, the ability to get along well with others, being prompt and timely, those sort of things. So if you're considering a job in machining, make sure when you go into that interview that you show them what kind of great soft skills you're bringing to that job, because it's going to be impressive that you have that awesome certificate from Virginia Highlands Community College. So you also need to sell them on who you are as a person and let them know that you're there ready to work and you're going to make a good impact on the company.
That's great advice, Gayle. Thanks for spending a few minutes on Facebook Live with us tonight. I so appreciate, again, the time you've given us. And thanks for your advocacy for all of the manufacturers here in Southwest Virginia. We will see you again soon, I'm sure, because you're part of our bigger team connecting education in the community. So thanks, Gayle, for joining us. Hey, you have a great night. We've got some other special guests that are going to join me here in just a second, but I want to jump on something that Gayle just mentioned, and that was those soft skills. Here at Virginia Highlands, you'll learn the technical competencies and skills that you need to be successful on the job, but we've intentionally helped build some of those soft skills into our educational curricula. So while you go through any program here at Virginia Highlands, you'll gain the confidence and the ability to work in teams and communicate well and do those soft skills that Lenny was talking about just now and add them to your technical skills that you gain in a lab like you saw on the video a moment ago. And in the end, you'll be ready to get a great paying job right here in Southwest Virginia. Now, let me go to our next guest. We've got two really neat guests tonight. Ryan Blankenship and Don Johnson are here with us. They're both recent graduates of the program. They both earned their Associate of Applied Science degree in precision machining. So I think we've got these guys on the screen now. I'm going to peek over here. Oh, yep, there they are. I see you. Hi, guys. Ryan and Don, thanks for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
Really glad you're here. All right, so guys, we'll start with you, Don. Why don't you tell us what you're up to?
Well, I'm a CNC machinist at Columbus McKinnon. I started there back in January, and after just a few weeks of training, kind of got cut loose on my own. And I mean, it's a really enjoyable job. It's better than most people think factories are around here.
Fantastic. Ryan, what are you doing now?
I am in the tool and die room at Strongwell down in Bristol, and I do CNC machining, manual machining, welding, really whatever job they have for me that day.
Wow. So Ryan, real quick, your day varies. I mean, it sounds like you're not doing the same thing all the time. It sounds like you're doing whatever they need you to do.
Absolutely.
How fun. So Ryan, you also participated in one of those paid internships we were talking about earlier while you were still a student here at Virginia Highlands. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience and how it prepared you for the job you have now?
Yeah, sure. See, I started at general engineering. I think it was my second semester I started up there. It was awesome. I learned a whole lot of stuff that I couldn't have even imagined. And then I moved on to Strongwell, and they eventually gave me a full-time job after I interned with them for a couple of months.
So your paid internship led to a full-time job. That's incredible.
Yes.
Fantastic. Now, Don, I want to go to you here. You're not as traditional a student. I don't want to put you in a box here, but you came back to college a little bit later in life. Tell me about your path back to Virginia Highlands.
Well, I was working in a factory in Abingdon, and when I came back to Virginia Highlands, it only offered day shifts, so I wound up going to night shift where I was working. And this program's doable with a family and stuff like that. The reason that I didn't do an internship is I couldn't leave a full-time job and still support my family. But I lucked out, and when everybody else was starting internships, I started at general engineering as a full-time machinist.
So you were able to finish the program while still keeping a full-time job?
Yes.
Oh, that's terrific. And you mentioned you have a family. How does the family feel about you being in a precision machining career?
Well, they like it because my wife actually signed up after my first year. She just finished her second semester, and I think they're doing something over the summer in the machining program.
Wait, so you went to the precision machining program. It worked out so well for you. Your wife signed up too. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Man, that's terrific. We'll have to connect with the rest of your family. We get a whole family full of you in there. That's great, Don. So we saw the lab, and Johnny King gave us a kind of a virtual tour of all the space. There's a ton of machines in there. You got to use those machines. Tell us a little bit about some of the projects that you did while you were a student here at Virginia Highlands.
Well, my first project that I kind of went off on my own was just a couple of weeks in. I convinced Johnny to let me make a fly reel, and I spent pretty much my whole first semester making every part to a functional fly reel. We started out with just pictures that I had found that was something like I wanted to have. And from that, we reverse engineered it and came up with drawings to work off of to make the fly reel.
Wow. We're going to have to talk about this off camera. Maybe you can help me with my casting on my fly reel. Ryan, what kind of projects did you do?
Well, I have a couple to show you, actually. The first one is, I don't know if you can see it. I made a nut and a bolt, and they actually thread together. I made those on a lathe, and then I have this Chevy logo, I took it off of Google Images and I plugged it into our 3D modeling software, and the computer came up with the toolpath, and I stuck it in one of our CNC mills, and it milled out the Chevrolet logo there.
Wow.
And then my prized possession here, we made these desktop cannons, made every single part on this cannon. Lathe, mill, you use it all to make this one. That one was fun.
Incredible. Now, Ryan, it looks like you've gotten several different types of materials there, so you had to account for all the different, the metallurgy and all that other stuff too. Is that stuff you learned there in the program?
It sure is.
Wow. Incredible. Guys, well done. I'm blown away that you learned enough to make those kinds of projects to begin with, both with the computer system and hand tools. Just amazing. So what would you say to a potential student, maybe a neighbor or a friend who said, hey, Don or Ryan, we'll start with you, Ryan. Ryan, what would you say to somebody who's considering a career in precision machining? What would you tell them about the program at Virginia Highlands?
Well, the first thing I'll tell you, Johnny Keene will stick his neck out for you. He'll do anything to help you. Don't do what I did and wait too late. I didn't know what machining was. I had just taken welding the first semester. I had no idea. I knew it dealt with metal, so I figured, that'd be a good start from welding. It'd be a good add-on, and it kind of took over from there. I mean, machining is a vast world, and you can blow people away with the things that you can make.
Don, what would you tell somebody who might be interested in the program?
Get in touch with Johnny and get signed up as quick as you can. This is a great field to get into because everybody thinks, and I was wrong about it when I first started. I hated CNC because I thought, well, I don't want to be the guy that's just doing the same thing all day, every day. And, now I'm in CNC and I don't do the same thing from hour to hour. There's always something different going on with the machines. I run 2 machines at Columbus McKinnon. We all do. So there's always something a little bit different going on in every day. And don't let the math scare you. Me and Tracy were talking about it. There is a lot of math, but to get started, if you can add and subtract and do a little bit of simple multiplication, you can get started, and Johnny will be glad to teach you the rest.
That's a great point about the math. Did you find that being able to apply that math to real world problems, did that make it easier for you to kind of grasp those topics?
Oh, absolutely. Because, the main math that we use in machining is decimals, and it's simple to work with decimals. We still see a lot of fractions, but for the most part, if you do get a fraction, you'll convert it to a decimal just to make it easy to work with.
Well, guys, I tell you, I couldn't be more proud of having you as Virginia Highlands Community College alumni. You're just amazing. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations on your success. And thanks for being with us tonight. How fun to get to have this kind of interaction with you. Ryan, Don, thank you. And keep representing Virginia Highlands. I know you're really proud of your association with us, and we are of you. So thanks for spending time with me this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to go back to Johnny Keene in just a minute for some questions and answers. So if you've got questions about what you've seen tonight, you can type them into the comment box. We'll either answer them here tonight or we'll catch up with you later. I just want to remind you, though, if you are joining tonight's Facebook Live because you got an email from us and you're being and it pulled you in, I want to remind you, put your name in the comments so we can find you back, and we got a special gift for you. We'll mail it right out. You can get one of those. I also want to talk a little bit about how to get started. You've seen the labs, you've heard from industry, you've heard from former students. Now what? Well, a couple of ways you can get plugged in. First, though, I want you to know precision machining is not just a high-demand job, it's a high-demand program, and there's a limited number of seats available. We want to make sure you get lots of hands-on experience while you're a student here. So while we have a day and a night program, there's a limited number of seats. And the best way to get into the program is to sign up early and get registered. So the very first step is apply to Virginia Highlands Community College. You can find us on the web at www.vhcc.edu. vhcc.edu, and you can find us there. Click on the enroll, and you can fill out an application. It's free. That application will give you the opportunity to identify a program like precision machining, and then from there, we'll contact you. We'll walk you through the registration process, the financial aid process. We're going to connect you with another live human being as kind of your guide into the program, so you're never alone. If this is the kind of program you want to be a part of, reach out to us. You can either load it into the comment section, you can email Johnny Keene, and we'll put up his email address here in the on the screen, or you can just inquire through the website vhcc.edu, and we'll make sure you're connected to find out more about how to get started in a great career in precision machining here at Virginia Highlands. All right, so I think we're going to come back to Johnny now. Is Johnny out there? Johnny, you there?
I'm here.
Awesome. So Johnny, here we go. We've talked to industry, we've talked to students, we've seen your lab, and now I'm going to ask you, what's your advice about enrollment? How do I get started?
Well, just like you mentioned, you need to apply and do it as fast as you can. Not trying to rush anybody, but last fall we had all classes filled up pretty quick, and we ended up with a pretty sizable waiting list. So
yeah, so
we
need
it.
If you're thinking about it, you need to sign up right away, don't they?
Right. We have 15 seats in the day program and 15 seats in the evening program.
Wow.
Once we get those 15, then that's it. So it's first come, first serve.
First come, first served. I hope you'll reach out to us if you're interested. And if you've got a question about precision machining, you can either put it in the comments section, and we'll answer it for you today, or you can email us. You've got Johnny's email address there on the screen, or you can reach out through the website, and we'll reach out back to you and answer those questions. But while you're thinking about what those questions might be, let me start with a couple of questions that you may be wondering about. You heard Johnny say that there's 15 seats in the daytime section, 15 seats at night, and you might be wondering, in the middle of COVID, how's that going to work? Well, the answer is this. Because it's a hands-on program that requires the lab that you saw in the video earlier, our plan is to offer this program in person this fall. We've got safety protocols in place to keep you, Johnny, and your families safe and healthy while we teach the program, but we know that it's very important to our customers, that industry we work with, that you get the real-world hands-on experience that you can only get in a lab like we have here at Virginia Highlands. So our plan this fall is for you to get that hands-on experience. There'll be some content that you can get in other ways, but you'll still be able to use these machines. You'll still get to practice and both programming the CNC side and doing the manual mills and lathes as well. The program will be available on campus this fall, but it's a limited number of seats and a lot of special protocol to keep everybody safe to do it. So that's the first answer. The second is a program like this affordable? My goodness, look at all the money you can make when you're done, the great jobs that are available, all the intense hands-on instruction. Here's the great news. It's absolutely affordable. Just like other programs here at Virginia Highlands, it's only $157 a credit hour. That includes the lab time. So we're the best deal in town. You can start this fall preparing for a great career that you can achieve in just 2 semesters. And don't forget about financial aid and grants and all of these other things that are available to you. In fact, more than 80% of our students receive some sort of financial aid. So as part of the application process, we'll work with you to fill out all of the financial aid applications and make sure that you have all the resources for which you're eligible to be a good student and get off to the right start here at Virginia Highlands this fall. So if you qualify for Pell Grant, if you qualify for our other scholarships, you may find that all of your tuition is covered, and you may even have some money left over for books or tools. You'll be in great shape. You also heard Don mention earlier that when he was a student in the program, he was able to work a full-time job and still complete his studies. You heard Ryan also talk about starting in the program. It took just 2 semesters to complete the full-time program. Johnny, why don't you tell us a little bit about the courses that are in those 2 semesters? What are the kinds of classes that a student might be expected to take?
Well, in the first 2 semesters, they're taking 4 classes using the manual machines. They're taking 4 using the CNC machines, and they're taking 1 drafting class, 1 CAD CAM class. There's no general education in the first 2 semesters. I think there's one gen ed class in the 3rd semester if they do the degree program. We've tried to front load all the technical coursework and then backload the general education.
So if a student's interested in really kind of getting his hands on those machines and learning those technical skills, they'll start learning it right from the beginning.
Yes, I tell my students that we start running machines on day 2. Day
That's
1 is about
incredible.
safety. Day 2 is when we start running machines.
Now, Johnny, I've got another question for you. What if I don't have any mechanical skills? What if I've never been around a machine like a mill or a lathe or a big 5-axis CNC machine? How much do I have to know before I come to the program?
You do not have to know any. I have probably 95% of my students have never operated a lathe or a mill. I've had
Wow.
several students have transferred over out of general education programs, and then a lot right out of high school. Most of them have never operated a piece of equipment. So that's not an issue.
So they can start without knowing anything about precision machining and in as little as 2 semesters be employable.
Yes.
Wow. All of that with a high quality, affordable, supportive education at a great place like Virginia Highlands Community College. Johnny, you've been amazing. I love your program. I love your passion for it. If you're watching tonight and you're interested in a program like precision machining, let me tell you, there's no better person to talk to than Johnny Keene, and you can reach out to him directly. I know he'd be happy to schedule a tour, a phone call, a Skype call, or whatever it takes for you to get the information you need to consider a career in precision machining. Johnny, thanks for joining us this evening. You're amazing.
Thanks, Dr. H. Appreciate you having me.
All right. Listen, as we wrap up our Facebook Live tonight, I just want to remind you of a couple of things. First, the precision machining program has both a day and a night section, so you can pick the one that fits your life best. We heard from a student earlier who worked a full-time job while he was still going to school. And we heard from another student who got a paid internship to help offset those costs. But the seats are limited. So if you're thinking about a career in precision machining, or you're thinking about coming to Virginia Highlands and majoring in this program, now's the time to sign up. Another thing we want to remind you of is this is one of those programs that, assuming things continue in the trend that they have been, we plan to offer in person on campus here at Virginia Highlands this fall. So you'll get the same great hands-on education as you've come to expect from VHCC if you choose this program for the fall. Seats are limited. Apply now. It's going to be hands-on. And here's the best part. There's great employers waiting for you. We talked to one of those employee representatives tonight, and she listed over 350 companies looking for you this fall to start the program at Virginia Highlands so you can be ready to work in as little as 2 semesters. Thanks for joining us tonight on Facebook Live. There's so much and more to offer here at Virginia Highlands, but here's what I want you to know. We're ready for you. I hope you'll take a few minutes, find us on Facebook, find us on Twitter or Instagram or any of those social media channels, or on our website, vhcc.edu. You can call, email, send up a smoke signal. We'll come find you. Now's a great time to register for the fall semester at Virginia Highlands. I'll see you on campus this fall.